Hello. Good morning. Now I'm going to say something that's not popular, and I'm not going to be popular for this, but I don't know. Okay. Some things just needs to be said. Yeah. And I've been kind of paying attention to, I call it changes in the fabric of time space. This kind of began, so to speak, more intensely during the 2 years of the pandemic, 2020. I was practicing movementless yoga. It's a nice way to take care of my own health. I facilitate health clinically. And then taking care of my own health is how I improve the kind of facilitator I am. And it's a nice thing. It works. When it becomes good enough, then I will share with people because you don't just put out a product, which is still in the making. And maybe I'm a perfectionist. I don't know which is the case. But in 2020, when there were lockdowns and everything being announced, then I thought I would better speak about the work because otherwise, if I got to be on this side of life or the work that I'm improving and developing and making better, um, to be valuable, yeah, because it is good work. So I started speaking. I started doing online lives and lives on Facebook. There are those recordings on my Facebook page. I guess life just kicked my work out of the closet, so to speak. I was just improving, and it is what it is. Yeah. I'm still working on improving the content. Um, and then I discovered that my work is not just simple because a lot of people don't know how to breathe healthy naturally. A lot of the composition of how the human body functions is not known. Now, I didn't know how much is not known until I started speaking the work and then improving and making better. And so product development continues because I got to improve the work. You can't just put it out. And you got to, it's like a dish, you got to keep improving. But at the same time, it's like this keeps getting richer and richer. How do you say when it is good enough to be shared? Yeah. So I guess I'm in one of those moments right now. It's like a spring water, so to speak, that keeps coming out. Yeah. So um, I'm from KGF, Kola Goldfields. And I don't know if I'm the water, yeah, that the mines have been apparently speaking about. But they said they were talking about some prediction somewhere that they spoke about how um, South India. Okay, there's this prose that says in the year 2020, where it says South India is one big lake or something. And I was thinking about KGF and the gold mines and water and all of that. I don't know if I'm the water that is gushing out. Yeah, from the mines because I'm from Kola Goldfields. So nevertheless, this work is continuing. So the point I'm trying to make is over the 2 years of the pandemic, I've noticed several trends to improve health. Yeah, there was also this intense breath work. There was also this several kinds of practices in trying to help people improve health because there was the lockdowns and the different existential angst. And there is also the influence of the virus on our genetic make and our behavioral patterns. And my work, which started some years back, has been to maintain being me. And then during the 2 years of the pandemic, I discovered it is important to maintain being human because it seemed like the virus was affecting our DNA composition. And that was not working so fine because I read about the bubonic plaque and all that, and that in our human composition, we have the rat race kind of thought lines, bubonic plaque. So there's been an influence from the rats in our genetic composition. And then there's this run, yeah, different. So there's been all of those kinds of behavioral patterns. And there is this work that developed over time, and I don't know if I'm an accident or I'm a, planned system updation from Almighty.inc to improve the condition of being human. Because I noticed this trend in my behavioral pattern, and I was noticing it's a little viral. Yeah. Not me. Becoming other than me is so easy. And then you have the vaccination, which is to improve your immunity, which helps. But I didn't know that people were not thinking in terms of the pandemic itself may have been affecting our DNA compositions. And I was maintaining being me and then maintaining being human, whatever that means. Okay, what that means is there's a certain behavioral pattern for what is a human behavioral pattern versus a plant, animal, or a microbe. Okay, so there's a bandwidth, and there is reference to this in several textbooks, and they call that as the Manushya Dharma. Yeah, the the duty, the functions, which is there for being human, for humans. And when we are not behaving from within those lines, we behave like any other species. So there is a certain, you could say, human morphic resonance field. Every species has a reason for them maintaining being them. Otherwise, they go extinct. Yeah, or they become something else. And so this is there within our human capacity. And what I was noticing is what influences our being human, becoming humane, which the idea of Samudra Manthan or the mythology as in different stages of development, different textbooks have been talking about it. But we haven't had a reason to understand and interpret those texts because maybe the writers didn't face a pandemic earlier, or they weren't studying the influence on the body during the pandemic, or I don't know if my kind of character hadn't come before earlier. So, um, and consequently, I discovered that our body is like what I'm calling as movementless yoga, but it's basically Vishachikitsa. Um, I call it Anvarya Pachana, Avahaniya, and Garhapatya. Now, what these are all talking about is our body is like the Yajna. We have warmth. It's also called the Agnihotri. But Agnihotra, there's metabolic fires that maintain the health of our body, a human composition. And that maintains us being human, maintaining us being us versus anybody else. And when we are doing the right things, then we um, bring about an auspicious life. Otherwise, you have lifestyle diseases. Metabolic concerns gives rise to lifestyle diseases, or lifestyle diseases are maintained by insufficient or inappropriate metabolism from lack of perspective also. And I also studied that our human composition itself has not been understood well enough, alluded to or proved by WHO's Global List of Diseases. It's a human list. It's not a list of animals and plants or microbes. Now, having said that, why am I speaking about all of this now? Is because I continue to study the trends, health improvement trends, and this is how it's done. So without a lack of perspective, with a when you're doing things with a lack of perspective of what is normal, what is sufficient, what is right, what is, oh, it's good now, it's let's move forward without there being a baseline, so to speak, of what is acceptable normal. We don't know which is healthy or unhealthy without a frame of reference, without a point of reference. Both is important. um, we don't know which way are we going, or why are we going there, or is it better to go there, or are we headed in the right direction? So I've been paying attention to trends. Okay, that doesn't change. And fortunately, I noticed my paying attention to trends and maintaining being me, maintaining being human and maintaining being me. So these are three different contexts. One is paying attention to trends, another is maintaining being human, another is maintaining being me. Yeah. Because I could get so lost in all the, caretaker syndrome and then lose context of what is me and what is human and what is um, seasonal or what's happening right now. So the Vedic texts, they talk about pay attention to flora, fauna, and seasons. And they say you'd never be poor a day in a life. No, never be poor a day of your life. Yeah. Um, okay. That's a kind of a rough quote. But what that's also talking about is this is there for every human being. But I'm thinking that's taken from a text that's alluding to the ShriChakra. The ShriChakra is Shri, when you're expanding it, comes to health, wealth, and wisdom. So Sanatana Dharma also has reference to the ShriChakra. And I'm thinking Sanatana Dharma is about how to sustainably maintain being healthy, wealthy, wise. So in that sense, when you're paying attention to details, that's when you notice if things are going for health, wealth, wisdom, or is it going away from. And I happened to come to these thought lines during as I was studying all the different changes happening during the 2 years of the pandemic, and then I continued to because you notice it's not just then there, but the change is a constant in life. And now we also have artificial intelligence and different thought lines. Oh, now let's go for it. And then you notice, oh, there's another change. Yeah. And then something is trying to go really fast. And then, yeah, well, or something is a little lagging behind, or you notice health changes. You notice health reports, anxiety, and those kinds. And then you notice where is this coming from? So here is like, yeah, you go for it. Another one's like, oh my goodness, anxiety. Yeah, so there's goes like that. Um, so what do I do? Well, there's this idea of in this teleseries Ashes of Love, there's this idea of Jimmy, and the teleseries Ashes of Love is talking about 6 realms. Yeah, and during the 2 years of pandemic, I discovered Jimmy is a character who maintains balance between 6 realms. Yeah, and Jimmy is like water. Yeah, when you maintain the clarity of water gets affected by at least 6 influences. I tend to call it as basics. Bay 6 SICS or SIX. Yeah, 6 realms. And then I discovered there is Ashtanga Yoga. And then there is 8. And then there's 10. And there's numbers from 0 to 9. And then, 1 to 9 and then 0. That's like 11. Then there's this idea of Ekadashi. So we get lots of numbers that way. And then Dwadasha, yeah, and Dashavatara. That's talking about 10. And then Dashami, like 10. And then um, well, the idea of 12 is after 10 plus 2, and then 12 is another sacred set of numbers. For example, we have 12 months in a year. So there is these numerical patterns since some time. If you look through our different um, everyday references, clock has 12 hours. Yeah. Um, so there are these some patterns repeating. And these patterns have come about over several years through many traditions. And as life works when you're kind of following these patterns and then you're improving along those lines. So I've been studying patterns like this. And I've also been studying on trends, on health improvement and how that affects different things. Okay, so what that benefited is, since I was paying attention to trends and how that's affecting the baseline of being human, while the COVID virus was also affecting our DNA composition behaviors and different aspects, also shown by the news. And radio, and I've been listening to news. So like, this is coming from there, this is coming from there. It's like, where is the problem coming from? So, and then I had to pay attention to details. Yeah. My paying attention to the baseline, I noticed I was kind of being like this fish oil on choppy waters. When you're having a perspective, it's a bit like traffic control. Yeah. It prevents tumultuous up and down. Yeah. I didn't know that this was there. This was possible. But I was noticing that the number of people who were getting sick were reducing, and consequently, lockdowns were lifting. Now you could say this is, you're delusional. Yeah. But I noticed this once, and then I noticed it twice, and then you notice it thrice, and you notice it's continuing. Yeah. Um, because it's like a normal BP, you have a certain baseline. You kind of watch for a certain number. So when a group of people are within that number, 120 by 80, you're more likely to have a normal BP. Yeah, there's like a baseline. You have a certain point of reference or a frame of reference, like a bandwidth of normal. So that there could be people could go up and down from there, but there is a bandwidth. Similarly, I didn't know there was this to pay attention to, and I was paying attention to this, and I noticed lockdowns were lifting. I don't know if it's because I was paying attention to this or in spite of it. Nevertheless, I do remember that when I was thinking about, I had a breakthrough in an idea. I was dealing with one of these challenges, one of the why is this happening so, and what could be giving rise to this, and I was thinking about, and a breakthrough in a thought line. The next day, they announced they discovered a vaccine in India. I was thinking, okay, interesting. Yeah, coincidence. Um, so you never know which butterfly is related to what, how things shows up. Anyways, you could say coincidence, serendipitous. But how do I know that a department in health, in our everyday ways of living, for example, traffic control, at some point somebody started paying attention to the traffic, and then we have a department for traffic control. Yeah. At some point somebody started paying attention to diseases, and then you're curating diseases, and we have WHO's global list of diseases. And so there's a watch out for, oh, watch this. And so there is more work towards when you do this, these diseases come down. Yeah. So I may have just started a trend. Yeah. But given that I'm noticing this, it just becomes like, it becomes, you do it. Yeah. Whether or not somebody else knows about it, you continue doing that because there is benefit to it. It becomes like your karma and dharma. And then to tell people about it and teach it and all of that. So I'm in different stages of making that available. Why am I making this video? Is because I have noticed a certain trend. Yeah. And that includes um, subliminal messages. Right? It's like positive affirmation. It's like distance healing. Yeah. Or um, this requires people to pay attention to thoughts that they have during different times of the day, for example, because your thought lines may be coming from what's in the environment, or it could be mantra japa, chanting, and all that stuff, and that having an influence on your thought lines. Okay. Um, so there are many kinds of such things. Yeah. For example, frequency, energy, vibration. Some people use devices, yeah, to tune into certain frequencies so that their body is functioning at a particular nice vibration. Yeah. And it's like playing a song 24 bar 7. Yeah. While there are so many kinds of songs, playing one song 24 bar 7. Yeah. That has a certain effect. Yeah. Um, you could also say obsessive compulsive behavior. Yeah. But it's just that our thought lines get narrowed into a certain form. Yeah. Um, while there's a whole range. And then I heard the Katapayadi Sankhya or the Mela Karta Raga, while there are 72 ragas, people generally tend to play about 35 to 36, about 35 ragas. Now I was thinking, why is that gone to so much? Well, there are so many songs, so many ragas. This is the reason. They prefer something. Some things bring some effect. The other things they don't know what they do. Yeah, so stay with what works. Yeah, that's come to just this much. And while music also heals, we also have had several people falling off the during the pandemic. While we had music to heal, also to help. Oh, we were not able to breathe healthier naturally. Yeah. So some of the bandwidth, frequency, energy, vibration was only limited to this. So it's like chaddi or ghee. Like martial arts people, they wear a white dress, martial arts dress. It's called the ghee. Basically, it's like the vest or the underwear, yeah, or the pajama beneath your different layers of clothing. Like the basic garment, alluding to basically our skin. Our skin is our basic most garment, yeah. And since we can't just walk around naked, yeah, we have a garment, ghee, yeah. But it's also like I refer to the idea of the underwear because the underwear does a job so things don't leak out. Yeah. And also nothing invades. Yeah, like a microbe. Yeah, certain protection. So when our basic normal chaddi is not good enough, so to speak, to uplift the downtrodden, yeah, then diseases, death, those kinds of things, sure, it's more like we need a better chaddi. Point of reference or frame of reference by which a lot of people can be healthy, wealthy, wise. And when we don't have that, we have WHO's global list of diseases, humanity across boundaries needing better care, better health, what's possible for an entire species. Yeah. And we are having now birth rates waning across several countries. And that's also talking about a new is due. Yeah. New way of thinking is due. So that we're all doing well. Yeah. So I invite you to pay attention to let's just say six senses. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel. Or it could also be no, touch. What you touch, what you feel, touch, feel, all that. And what you know. For example, what kind of thought lines do you have? Is it oh, down in the dirt, oh my life, and this is just happening to me, and so it could be down and dirt, or like yay, oh me, oh no, yeah, you just me. So it could either be a platitude or it could be oh down in the trenches. Yeah. So those could be thought lines, thought vectors. But it could also be thoughts. It could be your own thoughts, or it's something it's there in the environment. Like for example, you go to a birthday party, it's all happy and then nice. You're having happy thought lines. You go to, say, a funeral, yeah, everybody's crying and then it was sad, yeah. And then you need a little moment after to get your equilibrium better. Otherwise, you could be in a little, right after the birthday party, like everything all bold, nice, nice, beautiful. And you don't want to make decisions and all that. Yay, all good. Yeah. You need to come to a little bandwidth of normal between these. Yeah. So it helps to pay attention to your thoughts too. So six senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling or touching, knowing. For a point of reference, frame of point of reference. Let's just say basics. It's again 6. That'll help you be healthier per decimal, per geodecimal point you're walking. Right now, I'm in my room, and the balcony, it's a different space, yeah, outside the room, because there is not the roof and the concrete structure. Outside, it's more open air. The thought lines would be different, for example. How I feel would be different. What I see, hear, smell, taste, feel, no, 6 would be different. Say I'm walking on the road. There are many kinds of houses. I walk from one place to another place to another place. The houses are different. Who lives in those houses are different. My thought lines, what I see, hear, smell, taste, feel, know will all be different. That is, if you're paying attention to what you see, hear, smell, taste, feel, know. Otherwise, it is, yeah, what it is, what it is. You're just going with how things are. Yeah, this is how life is. Yeah, and you never know if somebody's sitting in there and then oh cry, cry, and then you suddenly you're just feeling all too oh dour, and then you just go. But how do you know? You're not going to hello, everything okay? You never know whose life just gets better from somebody paying attention to things and could do a little more better. Well, I'm having this thought line. I wonder what's happening around. Nevertheless, sometimes just speaking helps, just in case this person, somebody is listening to me, that sometimes just speaking out your thought. I'm on a YouTube. There's also the podcast. There's also, say, WordPress, for example, blogging post. Or you can just type a message on WhatsApp, put it out onto your, say, known groups, caring groups. Somebody would pay attention or in some way listen. And I found often, um, at least from my experience, I've been making these podcasts, that some of my distresses, somebody out there in the world is listening. And my life hasn't been the same from just expressing out my stuff. That somebody just listening, whether or not they're doing something, somebody cares enough to, oh, this is happening. And so my life is not in that tiny little space. So just expressing helps. There are social media, there are different ways by which to express. You could also make dolls, or you could make craft work or paintings. Yeah, they help to just let your what's happening inside you to just be known. And then there's somebody, we're all on planet Earth, we are all Earth family. Somebody or the other cares, and you'll be fine. Just find a way to express. Okay, so I'm noticing this, I'm noticing these trends, and I also notice some of the concerns is coming from keeping it all together. And then when I notice, oh my, I'm dealing with existential angst and I'm heavy, then I just make a YouTube video or a podcast or make a blog post and then express. Okay, I might be sometimes sounding foolish. Yeah, one thing is not connecting with the other, and it's like, what in the world is going on in your head? Get your, you're like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm supposed to be of a certain stature, and then being leading the pack, and I'm on top of the ocean and the ocean in a drop. Yeah, if you're going to be too significant, and yeah, you don't want to become a cookie, crumbly. Yeah, alone in your own aptitude. Yeah, you're here. Yeah, because that's not how human beings function. You got to have that, allow ourselves to be normal and not just yeah. You're deciduous beings. We go through sinusoidal waves. Yeah. Miss Kocher, yeah, she dealt with some tough time. Yeah, still doing. Yeah, but that's a human condition and a woman. Yeah. So human beings go through these up and down phases, and I've been noticing that's not how you judge people. We don't have this frame of reference that human beings go through these ups and downs. Every organization has these ups and down phases, and it's not always going to stay there. When you have these frames of reference, what has gotten created, what's begun as an organization, has a space by which to move through that bandwidth of development. Um, so people who come to O Power, they deal with stresses. Either they have a support system, or they are in different stages of developing, different available necessary, um, building those capacities, building those necessary bases by which to become better. I am, you know, and I'm expressing, and I'm those who are watching for what's happening is getting a sense of where this one is going to go now. Yeah. Um, so either there are competition, or there are people who are watching for something is happening. Yeah, what's happening? She's got her own news. Yeah, how is this news trending? How which way going? So nevertheless, expressing is better. Yeah. So at least you know the truth of the matter. You're those who are there is some developmental communication. Yeah. And we get better. We're all on planet Earth. Yeah. And we're all working towards adding value. Hopefully, that's when you can express it. That's when people can say, this is working. Do you know this is also happening inside you? Because when you express, there's somebody or other who can see this way, this side, and that side. And in their own ways, they let know, which is kind of interesting. That only becomes possible when you express. And you care about balancing the imbalances. Yeah. It's also called seesaw. So as excuse me, as kids, we played on the seesaw. So if you haven't, I recommend you go sit on a seesaw and experience that seesaw because it's a human condition. It helps to feel that life does move through. There are complementary opposites. It helps to get that sense to sit on the seesaw, hold on to it, not go, "Ugh," yeah, to balance between the two sides and then go up and down and hold on. This is one of the play things. There's a swing, and then there's the slippy slide, and there's monkey bars, yeah. And then there is just a playing ground where you can run around, yeah. And then there are boundaries from which to peekaboo outside, yeah. And there are birds, and there are trees, there are flowers, and there are people, and all kinds of people. Some people are staring at you, yeah. So how does that feel when somebody's staring at you? You may need to go on stage and speak, and there'll be lots of people staring at you. Yeah. And how are you going to get better at that? So life offers several opportunities. Yeah. So if you don't express, you're not playing. You're not quite having the opportunity that is there from being kids. We are all children of life. If we become a little too significant, we lose the bandwidth, the opportunities as possible from being in play with life as kids. So would you like to complain? Yeah, I might say another thing that might make your life a little more better or interesting. Yeah, or a little more fun. Yeah, we just say one or the other things, and or we will just discover something, or we'll invent something. Yeah, then we'll have fun. Yeah, that'll be nice. So healthy imagination. I help people have healthy imagination, which is also Einstein is said to have said that imagination is a sign of intelligence. I say healthy imagination is a sign of healthy intelligence. Because they took his E is equal to MC square and made a hydrogen bomb. Yeah, that is not so healthy imagination. Yeah. So I help people have healthy imagination. And that takes some intelligence. Yeah. So we will have some discussions like this. I also pay attention to trends like this. And then if you're interested, we can work together and then have more people be healthy, wealthy, wise. Yeah. So thank you so much for your kind attention. I hope this has been of value to you. If you're wondering about why you need to talk to me, maybe this video gives you certain thought lines about it. So look forward to speaking with you or reading your comments down below. Do leave your comments down under. And let's get a discussion started. Thank you so much for your interest. Good day.